The Nazem Kadri stuff yesterday was interesting because he did the sit down with, was it David Amber?
Yes.
And they talked about the trade, and Kadri said, well, you know, I know these trades happen quickly, but I didn't even get a face-to-face with Dubas. And then Dubas, when asked about it by Ron McLean's like, well, these things happen quickly, and, you know, I absolutely should sat down with him, but it was kind of like the trade was made, and I had to call him and say the trade was made.
Well, because you have minutes.
Yeah, because you're sending it to the head office.
Well,
and he also had a no-trade thing.
Yes, but also you don't want him to find out from
someone else.
He reads it on Twitter from Chris Johnston or something like that, right?
I found it quite interesting that Nazem Kadri thought that he deserved a sit-down from an NHL general manager. This is a guy who's been in the league how long? Knows that that's not how it works. And after 2 straight suspensions, at the worst possible time of the year, you think, and I love Kadri. So let me be that.
Same.
This is the caveat. Yeah. I love the way he plays. I love his attitude. I love how much he loved this city. And this city loved him too. There were a lot of people that hated on Nazem Kadri the way they're hating on William Nylander now, but there was a lot of us.
He was a bona fide star in the city of Toronto.
Yes.
He couldn't walk down the street.
Yes.
No.
However, and I'd say this to my good friend. Sorry, you think after what you pulled.
Yeah.
And forget the suspensions. You think that you're going to get a sit down from an NHL general manager ever if you're not the captain?
Yeah, dude. Like,
sorry. If you're Matt Sundin and you've played here 12 years and then they're about to trade you, I'd probably go to your house and sit down and say, Matt, listen, we got to rebuild. Do you mind going to Philly? Which is almost what happened.
Well, but not quite.
But not quite. Or you know, if it's Sidney Crosby and the Penguins need to rebuild, and and Crosby wants to have one more kick at the can. Ray Bourque, when Ray Bourque was traded from Boston to Colorado, I'm sure, was it Harry Sinden that was general manager? I'm sure it was whoever the GM of Boston was at the time, sat down with him and said, listen, Ray, we're going to trade you. We're going to rebuild. You've been amazing here. Thank you. Naz, are you out of your mind? You do not get, after what you pulled, and sorry, level of player, you don't get a sit down. This is a business, and you move on.
He's sick, but he's not like super duper.
He also said, "I know it's a business," but he also you could tell he's upset about it. Like, hey, I'm a little like I didn't understand. What don't you understand? Did you think that you were going to stick around here after 2 straight suspensions?
Yeah, like,
come on.
It broke my heart.
It did.
And honestly, if he doesn't get suspended in that Boston series, I think
they win.
Leafs win. Forget they win. He's still a Leaf.
Right.
Yeah.
You got to trade a forward in order to get some better help on D.
Kapanen, Janssen.
They would have gladly traded either of those guys, I think, for the value Kadri. Oh, well, there's still this 3-center thing. Dude, put him on the wing then.
Yeah.
Look what the Oilers do with Draisaitl, and look what the Avs have done with Kadri. They lost guys and threw him on the wing for funsies.
And Kadri's a great player.
He's so good. He doesn't get suspended. He's elite. And it wasn't just the playoff suspensions, man. This guy, there were all kinds of, if we're going to talk about Babcock breadcrumbs, there were all kinds of pain in the ass breadcrumbs with Nazem Kadri. And that was part of what I've said on the show multiple times. Dating back to last season, it was a miracle Nazem Kadri was still a Leaf.
Yeah.
Yeah. Friedman brought up his parents being called on the broadcast.
Really?
Yeah,
I didn't know that was public.
Yeah, in the headlines, he brought up his parents being called in to talk to him about the first time he was almost traded. Yeah, well, he said it. He said it on national television.
We've known about that for years.
Yeah.
We weren't allowed to talk about it because of how we heard it.
I wonder if it's still in the headlines clip. I'll bring it up, but yeah.
I would love to see. Yeah.
I've known about that for years.
It wasn't just him butting heads with Eakins and Ron Wilson not liking him very much. And I don't know, Randy Carlyle sort of found a role for him. And I don't think...
Him and Lupul were pretty dynamite together for a while.
Absolutely. As like this weird third/first line.
And then liking Lupul's thing when Lupul was like, I'm ready to play. And then getting he got suspended probably by the Leafs for like showing up hungover.
And how many times do you go, Nas?
Yeah. So that's another one where you go, Nas, come on, man.
Yeah.
We love you, but like it's like your friend who's really talented, really smart, but also occasionally does bonehead stuff, and you're like, man,
and
that was boneheaded. Come on, man.
No, but if you just get to know him, he's actually
and he
really,
probably is.
No, but like with your friend, right? Yeah. It was you couldn't possibly
come back with him.
Head into this season, much less the playoffs, with a player who's gotten suspended in the same game in the first round of back-to-back playoffs.
Can't build a team on that.
And I love him. And I think if he keeps himself out of suspension territory, him and the Avs will go to the Stanley Cup final. I believe that in my heart of hearts, but it's up to him.
I would also love to see him back in a Leafs jersey later in his career.
Oh my God.
That'd be awesome.
Would make me happier.
I want to see him back in a Leafs jersey tomorrow. But it is what it is, man. It is what it is.
So I just found that a bit like, come on, Naz. Really? Come on. You were not going to get a sit down. Stop. Like, do we take pot shots at Kyle Dubas for? Like,
yeah, it also happened on July 1st. You know, when all the moving parts are happening, you think Dubas is going to take some time to go sit down with Kadri?
Yeah. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Kyle Dubas doesn't have time for you.
No. He nixed or traded Calgary.
Yep.
Before that. So he knew this was coming.
So, like, on top of all of those pain-in-the-ass things, you shot down a trick.
Like,
come on,
hours
man.
Before?
Work with us here, man. Like, the city... Man, when he comes back to Toronto... The city's going to explode.
Oh, yeah.
It's going to be what the Avalanche fans gave Barry and more.
I think that Nylander will follow a similar track to Kadri in the sense that I was talking to like my brother-in-law's, father-in-law last night. And the one guy that he picks out, this is a guy who's an older man. The one guy he picks out that he doesn't like is Nylander. He said, that contract stuff, what's he think he is? I'm like, so the Marner stuff didn't bug you? Oh, that bugged me, but over it. And and I said, that Willie didn't do anything. He just was Willie and wouldn't sign for what the Leafs were offering him. But Marner's people leak shit into the public, and that was okay.
Yeah.
And I think what'll happen is Nylander, when he comes up big, and I'm serious about this, I meant what I said last episode, and you were absolutely right. Willie, I've defended you for years. Can you pay me back? And not pay me back in zone entries. Pay me back in spectacular fucking goal at a time when it's needed. Thank you very much.
It's not on William Nylander to be the... You're paying John Tavares, Morgan Riley, Mitch Marner, Austin Matthews.
Nylander can score a big goal once in a while,
but he's like fifth on the rung of guys you expect to score a big goal.
Morgan Riley makes less.
No, but it's not about the money. It's his role on the team.
It's a little bit about the money.
It's a lot. For everybody else, it is about the money. And I would love for Willie to come up with a big play. He doesn't have to even score. Come up with something like, listen, I love this guy. I defend this guy.
I don't know where you're going with
because he's the same as Naz in the sense that people didn't like him, didn't want to like him, didn't want to like him. Okay, begrudgingly I like him. Okay, I fucking love this guy.
Yeah.
And Willie's gonna be that guy. But when it's gonna happen, like it did with Naz, when there's a big play that people can wrap their heads around. I'm sorry to everybody that loves advanced stats, but the average fan doesn't give a shit about zone entries.
William Nylander
doesn't give a shit.
William Nylander isn't gonna get suspended in back-to-back playoffs. It's fine.
That's true.
You never know. He just snaps.
I don't know. I don't even know what snapping would be for him.
Do you know like his Stanley Cup interview, like when the Leafs win it in June, is just going to be him going, "Woo!" So Willie, you scored the game winner between your legs on a breakaway, shorthanded in triple overtime, lacrosse style, with a clown who broke onto the ice riding on your back. What do you got to say about that? Woo! Like I think that's the only word he knows. I'm kind of maybe his name.
That? And how can you hate that?
Give me Willie's big moment and let it happen this year.
Yeah. What about the five guys before him that should have?
They have had big moments. Matthews in his first game scored 4 goals.
They haven't won anything.
No, wait.
They haven't had a big moment to win.
Had big
they haven't.
Willie set up.
Name one thing they've won to have a big moment.
It's not about. It's about a big moment in season.
Name them.
Okay,
I'll name some. Okay. Smaller moment. Willie set up Barry's first power play goal as a Leaf.
That was
the biggest moment. Stanley Cup winning power play goal by Barry.
That's Barry's moment.
Leafs are down 3-1 to the Washington Capitals on home ice in Game 3, and who scores the game-tying goal to make it 3-3? William Nylander. And he goes up to the ground.
No one cares.
And he
That's in the back.
So you're backing my point about
those.
These moments don't matter because they haven't won anything.
Well, that's not necessarily what I'm saying. What I'm saying
How
is,
did we get here?
No,
you can't ride both sides, Adam.
No, I'm not.
Since the contract.
Since the contract.
Well, last season
you're changing the goalposts.
Guys, that's when people started hating him.
He got a breakaway goal in game 1.
Guys, people
breakaway goal in game 1.
God, that's not a big fucking moment.
That's such a big fucking moment. They're not big moments.
No.
Then they haven't.
I'm talking
nobody has.
You guys know what I'm saying.
Nobody has had a big moment yet. They haven't done anything spectacular. Is there anything this Leafs team has done that you would tell your kids and be like, I was there for that?
What's the bar?
Maybe drafting Matthews,
No.
What's the bar for a big moment here?
The team has had big moments. Listen, not in the playoffs. Granted. Matthews scores 4 goals in his first game. That's something you tell your kids about, right? If you're there. Fair?
Oh, awesome.
Mitch Marner has done some shit that has obviously endeared him to Toronto fans. He's had some big moments.
Bobby Hastings gave him a stick that time. That was a big moment.
John Tavares.
Our bar for big moments is low, you guys.
Right?
Low. It's fucking low.
It's a little bad.
What the fuck are these
Imagine
guys
being a
about?
Patriots fan.
Here's what I need from Willie. This is all I want. This is what I want. Just do something spectacular that's undeniable. One time.
Are you asking that of Morgan Riley?
That singes in people's... Morgan Riley had a 70-point year last year. Morgan Riley's had his moments.
It's not a moment.
That's not a moment.
That's a fucking season. How many
rounds of the playoffs did that win?
None.
Exactly.
None. And that's true. But I think what I'm looking for from Willie is less the sublime. Give me something spectacular sometime, Willie. I love you. I defend you. Mm-hmm. Please give me something to defend so I can go, hey, guy who doesn't know a goddamn thing about zone entries, what about this one play?
It just sounds like you're picking on the 5th guy down the run.
7th.
Oh.
That's what Berkey said.
Yeah.
Berkey said he's the 7th best player.
How did he say it?
He said, you're playing the 7th best player, player on your team. Well, I don't do ties. Like, come on, Berkey. He's not the 7th best player on your team. Get out of here.
So what you're saying is Kadri shouldn't have got suspended.
No, I think Kadri and Nylander have a lot in common in the sense
they
that
do.
Kadri was the guy that Leaf fans hated, the local kid that they hated. Nylander is the Calgarian that Leaf fans hate.